This podcast is brought to you in part by P&P Games, your online source for everything video games. Visit their website at pnpgames.com or at one of their 2 retail locations in Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Let's get started.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Bonus Stage Podcast. This is episode number 39. We're recording this on Friday, August 9th, 2013. As always, I'm your host, Lloyd Hannison, and joining me this week, I have to say that this time, Jeff Ward.
Hello.
How's it going, Jeff?
Good. How about you?
You know, it's going okay. It's the
good.
weekend finally. This was a tough week, man. Really busy, so it's nice that we can chill out, do a podcast. I did 3 yesterday, actually.
Yeah, I noticed though. Like it's like a Facebook notification every 90 minutes or so. I was like, man, You're really going hard in the paint tonight.
Yeah, I was getting her done. And then we're doing this one today and playing a whole stack of games. It's been good.
For those of you at home, Lloyd lives with his family. Hasn't seen them in 60 days, I believe.
No, I don't know how old my kids are anymore.
There's been 3 birthdays since the last time you saw them.
Yeah, I made my own doorway in the basement, so I just I go down this steps that I made out of dirt through this makeshift door, and I podcast, and then I go to sleep, and then I go to work. It's interesting life.
It's a good life.
Wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but it's interesting.
Could be worse.
Could be.
You could not have your dirt stairs.
I could be a Jays fan.
Oh, you know what? You could be. That's actually not far from the truth, especially after tonight's debacle.
It was fun to hear. Everybody on Twitter was just like, "Oh my God, what's happening? It's terrible."
Well, the thing is, a lot of people now. There's people who still think that the playoffs are going to happen, which is ridiculous. I mean, you'd have to win the next 40 games in a row and have anybody who's ahead of you lose their next 20. Well, it's impossible, basically.
Can't they only lose 2 games right now as it is? And the other teams have to not win every single game for them to get in. It was something like that. It's like,
basically, I mean,
they're not mathematically eliminated, but they're realistically eliminated.
Yeah, you might as well be. It would take something that has never happened in the century-long history of Major League Baseball. That's how much of a stretch it is. So people aren't really, like, at this point, I still get frustrated when it's a bad game, but I just sit down and enjoy a game of baseball. I don't really have any expectations. I'd like to see the team do well, but I'm not sitting there thinking, like, if we don't win this, we're not going to be in the playoffs. We haven't been in the playoffs. We aren't going to be this year, but that's okay. But a lot of people I follow on Twitter are just livid after every pitch that gets hit for a single. They are just livid. It's crazy.
Sports.
Can't live and die by every pitch. It's a quick way to have a heart attack while watching a season that's 162 games.
No kidding. Well, this is not a sports show, so what do you say we get into video games? We'll talk about some
or just
video
change
games.
this into a show, because I would actually love to do a sports show.
We could do that. We could
give TSN a run for their money.
This could be the outfield offensive zone field goal range. I'm trying to find something that combines multiple sports into one. Obviously have to work on the name a little bit, because that was horrendous.
We've never been good at names, which is why we kept the bonus stage when we moved it over here.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, this
look at the chat room right
technically
now.
this is These Dudes on Games. We just
we
like this name a little better than the other one, so we just kind of renamed it. It's the exact same show. It is These Dudes on Games. It's just this is a little less bad of a name than the other one, and because we're terrible at names. So that's how we do here. on the VG Podcast Network.
The chat room's got a lot of sports chat going on right now. They're talking about NFL.
Yeah, they're talking football.
We're rebranding now.
The good kind of football, as people say. When I say that I watch CFL, they're like, "Oh, you watch the bad football." It's like, what? Damn it. Yeah. All right, well, let's move into the show. First off, just wanted to mention to everybody that I'm asking you guys for a little favor. If you can go to youtube.com/VGPod and click subscribe. I want to get up to a certain number of subscribers on that channel because then Google, the mastery of Google, the mystery of Google will take over, and they will enable something called YouTube live streaming because I want to try that as streaming replacement to what we're using right now, which is Twitch TV. The reason being is Twitch does not support iOS. So if you come to my website, the live page on your iPad, iPhone, or even some Android devices, it won't work because it requires Flash. And pretty much no mobile devices nowadays ship with Flash because it is a crazy, crazy battery / processor hog. So I'm trying to look for an option that doesn't intersperse ads every 30 seconds that I have no control over because that's really annoying to people that are watching, and also gives me some flexibility. YouTube seems to be the best possible solution right now. So I'm hoping that everybody will go there and subscribe to the channel. As an added bonus, every single video podcast that I've streamed for the last 1.5 to 2 years is up there now. I just finished uploading and editing and renaming the last 130 video files that I recorded. So there is a lot of stuff up there for you guys to watch. So if you've missed a show and you want to watch it on video, if you want to watch it on your television, if you have a YouTube app, you can do that now. You can catch up with the podcast while cozying up on your couch with your DS or your Vita or something. So that's a nice added benefit. Moving forward from this show, pretty much every show that we do will be posted up on YouTube within a day or so of recording. So pretty much when you are downloading the podcast in your RSS feed, you can go to the website, watch the video. You can go to YouTube and watch the video. I'm making a concerted effort to get that stuff up and uploaded and ready to go, just so you guys have another method to consume all the shows that we do here on the VG Podcast Network. Also,
I'm looking at the page right now, and I'm seeing there's maybe 15 videos that were added today or in the last 8 hours.
Yeah. Like I said,
I wonder if Shaw's going to call you and say hey, what have you been uploading so much?
Well,
that's a lot of videos.
Yeah, it's a lot of stuff. I mean, that's a lot of that's like almost a terabyte of video that I uploaded. It's a lot. Not just from my home network. I had a couple friends help me to get some of that stuff up.
Nice.
But yeah, it's there and it's ready. And moving forward, after getting YouTube and live streaming with your guys' help, I want to make video podcasts available for download as well. So if you have a Roku or an Apple TV or some other set-top box that can download video podcasts, you'll be able to download or stream them from the comfort of your living room. So if YouTube isn't your thing, you'll be able to do this multiple ways. So this is the first step. So hopefully all you guys listening can head on over to YouTube and just do me a solid and click subscribe so that we can get up and get it done. So check it out, youtube.com/VGPod. Sinister in the chat room says one of the podcasts is private. Yes, because it hasn't hit the RSS feed yet. So I've uploaded it and it's ready to be set to public as soon as the show posts tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock or something. I think that's what I have the post set to go on. That was the second talk that I did last night. So the first one posted today, the next one will post tomorrow, and then I'll get that video enabled as well. So yeah, a lot of stuff up there. It's fun. It's fun. So do check it out. youtube.com/VGPod. All right, man, let's get into the show. Jeff, What the hell have you been playing?
Not a lot this week because I have been doing a lot of work and I've had a lot of meetings. But the 2 games that I have played, have taken up quite a bit of time. Still playing Animal Crossing. It's really difficult to put that game down because, again, it's a game that can demand a lot of your time, but it also doesn't have to, right? You can, as much as I hate it that these friggin' animals are walking around, where have you been? You haven't been here in the last 4 days. You don't have to talk to them or anything. You could just go around, dig up fossils and improve your house and stuff. But it is hard to put down. So I've been playing that a lot. we've finally got TYT, which I think is that the last upgrade to the store.
No, there's TIY, and then there's I can't see it. The light's too big. I just Sinister, I just accepted your friend request on my Wii U gamepad right in front of me while we were doing this.
Ooh.
So yeah, there's TIY, and then there's the TNT Emporium or something, which is the last one, which is like a 3-floor behemoth that has everything built into it. So yeah, you can still
so I've got a couple left to go. That's always cool that things are popping up, and we buy so much now that because Carly's in my town as well too, so we can basically unlock things twice as quick. So we've got that place now. The flower store has got more stuff in. She just bought some silver axes because she's been watering plants left, right, and center. Mm-hmm. And the shoe store's in, which is cool. But I really want to buy stuff from there, but the shoes are so damn tiny that you really can't see them. Mm-hmm. And how often am I looking at my shoes? So I'm like, it's kind of a useless purchase, you know? Mm. I don't really care about my character's looks that much. But upstairs is the hair place, and that's pretty cool. I kind of wish that you could just go through preset hair instead of having to kind of do this awkward quiz to kind of figure out what you want your hair to be, where it's a guessing game.
Right.
But it's still fun, you know. Nothing is really expensive in this world except for your house improvements and, public works projects. So, and the owl. What the hell's his name? Blathers, right? He just asked me to, I feel like I'm talking about some weird kid show right now. Like, I'm not even talking about a video game. It's so stupid when I hear myself, I was talking to this owl, his name's Blathers. But he asked me if he can put forth a new public works project to help improve the museum.
You get the second floor in the museum, which is going to be great.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I still have like 500,000 bells to pay on the totem pole, and then somebody else asked me to do a drinking fountain. So now people are asking me to do stuff.
That never ends. That will always happen. They're always requesting things. Once you build something, they keep asking you to build other stuff because they want to keep it fresh and new.
If somebody asks me first, am I indebted to them to do that one first?
No, all it does is it adds it to your list of public works. They're not going to ever mention it again. Like if your favorite little mouse in your village asks you to build a square statue, and you don't do it, they're never going to complain. If you do it, they're never going to mention that, oh, you built it because I asked for it. It just adds it to your list. That's all it's there for. But they do it in a very friendly Nintendo way. They ask you, and it's like, oh, I really want this. Could you do this for me? And it's all to build up relationships with the little villagers that are in your village. So
so it's a really fun. I haven't gone to the island in a long time, so I'm gonna have to do that because I'm gonna need just a truckload of bells in the next couple of weeks to get really anything done. Mm-hmm. When you have a debt that's 500,000, you can't just like live off of fossils that aren't in the museum yet. It's gonna take forever to find the stuff
for sure.
To pay off anything. So that's a lot of fun. One of the things I don't like is Carly has put all these tiles on the ground to kind of make paths.
I don't like doing that.
I mean, it kind of makes things look nicer, but there's some bad stuff about it. Like, if you're running over, it doesn't change the sound of how you're running. It still sounds like you're running on grass. Mm-hmm. And they're very easy to kick up by accident if you have to pick up something that's next to it.
That's my problem. You go to hit something with a shovel or pick it up, and you screw up. Yeah, it's like, damn. And then also, she covered the plaza square with them as well too. But when the tent goes down, like Red's or the oracle, the fortune teller lady, it takes out those tiles. So like when a tent drops down on it, the tiles that it takes up like go missing. So it goes back to normal. So there's always like this T shape there after someone's been there. So, I mean, it's just minor stupid gripes. You try hard to find something you don't like about this game. I think that's maybe the best compliment I can give this game is that I often try hard to find something that pisses me off about it. Why can't you just love things,
gripes.
Jeff?
Just
that's
love
things. Just
the people of the show expect that I have to bring a certain level of hatred every episode.
Oh, don't they ever?
Exactly. So Animal Crossing is the new whipping boy.
Cool.
But it's a fantastic game, and it's easy to just lose a ton of time in, and play a half hour a day, and I'm getting enough. Now I'm trying to unlock that stupid machine so that
QR code machine.
There you go. Yeah. So one of the Able sisters can,
Yep.
okay, so the blue guy inside of the rec center, right?
Yeah, in the
recycle center.
retail.
He woke up today.
Yeah.
What an asshole that guy is.
Yeah, he's a jerk, but he's cool because he allows you to reupholster and change the color of furniture. So if you like a piece of furniture but you don't like the color it is, like if you get something that's pink and you don't want it to be pink anymore, like there's this really cool pink shelving set that has like a GameCube on it and a bunch of games and things.
Yeah.
But I don't want pink furniture. So you go to him and he asks for the thing, and then you choose the color you want, and depending on the color you want, it changes the color of all the stuff that's on the shelf as well as the shelf.
That's cool.
So you can make it like a really good charcoal gray with like I think it's like a purple GameCube on it, and it looks really, really, really good.
Also, there's a hippo named Hippo in my town.
Okay.
And she has fleas.
Yeah, you catch it with a net. And
you actually catch fleas off of people in this game?
Yeah, you hit them with
I
the
thought
net.
you like give her some soap or something.
No, you catch it off there, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed," or they'll be like, "Hey, thanks, bro," depending on what personality they have, right?
Oh my god,
yeah, it's really funny.
Could you imagine if that is in real life? Like some just destitute junkie person, like they got fleas on them, and you just catch them.
Just go downtown and just randomly they don't have to be homeless or even or even destitute. No, just hit people with nets and see what happens. And I'll stand there and I'll film it, and then we'll put it online.
I'm sure it'll work out great.
And I will retire a millionaire. It'll be good. Yeah. Actually, while you're talking on Animal Crossing, I'm actually playing with Animal Crossing Plaza on the Wii U, which is a free thing that they added today, or yesterday actually. So basically what it does, it's like Miiverse, but it's this nice little plaza in Animal Crossing, and you get a random assortment of animals that will come, and then they just start putting up little Miiverse posts, basically just like you were viewing it on Miiverse, but it's just this really nice little way of getting to all that content. Very Nintendo and pretty damn awesome as well.
Yeah, it's I almost wish I didn't like it, because it's so far gone. And I say this all the time, so I'm not gonna keep repeating myself, but it's so far gone from anything I play that it's, Tom was asking, we went for ribs the other day and he was asking about it, and I was like, I can't really describe why the game captivates you, because when you talk about it, it sounds so silly. It's a game that you have to pick up and play for 90 minutes, and then you just understand,
Yeah, it's like when we were talking a while ago, and you're like, oh, I just hate. I go into a building and they say hello, and then I do my stuff.
Bothers me.
I do my stuff, and then I leave, and they say goodbye, and it's just annoying. But do you know why they do that? It's so you build up friendships with all of these virtual characters, and you actually get upset when someone wants to move out of your city that you like. It's like
unless you don't like them, yeah.
Unless you don't like them, and then you're like, yeah, and then you walk behind him and you hit him with the net a couple times to really piss him off to encourage them to move out a little bit faster. Yeah. But yeah, it's just.
Can you leave tonight?
Yeah, exactly. It's a game where you actually build up like actual relationships with these virtual characters, which is just so bizarre because they're just spouting the same script and they say the same things sometimes, but you end up developing almost like little relationships with it. It's really weird.
Totally.
And the whole game is the fact that it is limited to what you can do in a day. It encourages you to come back and just do a little more and then do a little more and do a little more. Unlike most games, like free to play games. Like I can't remember who I was talking to that said that this game should have DLC because I should be able to buy whatever I want in the game.
I said it should have DLC just because Nintendo could make a truckload.
Right.
We did talk about it last show, but
that would ruin the whole like drive for people to come and keep playing it.
I guess so, yeah.
Because the whole point of the game is to have a little bit of surprise. Like it's like you walk into the TNT shop for the first time in a day and you're like, oh, what are they gonna have for sale? And it's like, oh, a grand piano that would look perfect in my house. And it's like little experiences like that repeated throughout the day. Which is why this game is so magical. Plus it's Nintendo and they know how to put polish on something so that you can rarely find faults with what you're playing. So, especially this one, City Folk, that is another story entirely. That is a piece of crap. But this one,
that was the one on the DS.
The one on the Wii. The DS one was okay. The Wii one was terrible. The GameCube one was great, and I think this one, this one is number one. The the
For sure.
GameCube is number 2, and then probably the DS, and then the Wii version. But
Would you say that this is the best game on the 3DS?
no, it's
No?
right up there. It's a good game, but it's probably the game that I've played the most. But I wouldn't say that it's the best game. But yeah, it's
Tough competition on that device. So many
Yeah.
games could be called the best game on the 3DS.
There's so many games that come out every week now. Like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Okay, so I'm playing Animal Crossing as well. I might as well talk about it now.
Yeah.
Today was the first day that I almost didn't play it.
Oh yes, you've played it every day
I've
since it
played
came
it
out.
every day since launch for at least a half hour, usually closer to an hour. And today I was actually taking a break because I had to go for some errands this evening. And I was just like, okay, I got about half hour, just relax. Maybe I'll watch some TV or do something. And it's just like, oh crap, I haven't played Animal Crossing today. So quickly grabbed it, did my dailies, bought some stuff, talked to the guy at the Club LOL to get my emote for the day, did some of the stuff, and then it was like, phew, okay, I've played it every day still. And I turned it off and saved and quit and put it away. But yeah, today was the first day. And I mean, this game has been out for months. It's just...
Yeah, what, early June?
Yeah, it's like June, I want to say 13th, but I think that's wrong. So I'm just going to do a quick Google search. Release date. So it came out on...
Basically 2 months now?
New Leaf came out on November 8th. Well, yeah, in Japan. I'm talking about North America. June 9th is when it came out.
June 9th. So 2 months today.
Today is August 9th. So I've played every single day for 2 months. Like, how can I not say that I got my $35 out of this game?
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. And it's so much fun. Like, everybody that I talk to that has a 3DS has played it, knows about it, or wants to get it. Like, it's a game that I think is going to sell for a long time. Nintendo has another one of their like long tail games on their hands because this thing is going to sell forever. It's pretty ridiculous. So yeah,
it's certainly a game that makes me thankful that I got the 3DS off of you when I did. You know, because we were. I think I said no a couple of times, and you were like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
I was actually ready to put it on Kijiji actually that day, and you're like, "No, I kind of want it." So, what's the details on it again? What does it come with? So we explained it. You're like, "Okay, yeah, I'll pick it up." But I actually kind of wish you didn't, because I'd like to have a second 3DS in the house so that Kara could play it, because she's really getting into it. And she hasn't started but she's watched me play, and it's really kind of interesting for her. So now I kind of maybe need to buy another 3DS. Besides the fact that Allie lost her DS, so now I have to buy another DS or 3DS for her. So I'm going to be buying a lot of Nintendo portables in the next little while, and I'm not really happy about that. It's crazy.
Now, would you buy Kara one so that she didn't have to be in your town, or so that you could still have the lion's share of your 3DS time?
I'd buy her one because it would be the better experience.
I guess so. Carly is definitely missing quite a bit.
Yeah, like it's not a greed thing at all for me. I'd love to play with her at the same time, and do stuff in the same city together, which would be a lot of fun. So visit each other's towns and do stuff. So that would be really good, which is why having a second one. So I think when I replaced Allie's portable, she had a pink DS that she loved to death, and she was so heartbroken when she lost it. Fell out of the car.
Did it have that Princess Peach game in it?
It had the Princess Peach game in it.
Oh no!
That I spent $50
after all the work
on
to get that,
to get a new copy.
Shoot.
Yeah, it
sucks,
terrible.
Man.
But it fell out of the car. She had a leg cast on, and I guess she had to limp into the car, and it fell out of her purse, which she didn't zip up. So she was she was in tears and so upset, and she still gets teary about it every once in a while when she talks about it. She's like, I really miss my DS. And it freaking just breaks my heart every single time. But I think what I'm going to get her, like, I've been trying to track down a pink DS, and they're either really expensive because they were only released for a little bit of time, from what I understand, or they're
Did they not come bundled with that game?
No, it came out for Valentine's Day right around Nintendogs at one point, like one of the releases of Nintendogs, because I bought it for Kara for Valentine's Day. Actually, it was like, I'm going to be the total like douche that gets his wife a portable game system for Valentine's Day, but it was pink and it was more like a gag gift than anything, but she played a lot of it. And then when I gave my son my DS Lite, she gave Allie her DS Lite. And then the kids have had their own portables ever since then. But yeah, now Allie lost it. So I've been looking for a replacement. They're really hard to find in good condition. Like I've seen some on eBay that look like someone like was basically putting cigarettes out on the unit itself or digging holes with it in the dirt, one or the other, or both. And then basically trying to find a new one. They're stupidly expensive. So what I think I'm going to do is maybe get her a 3DS, just the standard one, not the XL. She won't be able to play her Game Boy Advance games, but I have a Game Boy Advance SP that she can use if she really wants to play her couple Game Boy Advance games that she has.
There was a pink DSi.
Yeah, but I want to. If I'm going to get a new system, I might as well buy a new system that I won't have to replace in a couple years because her friends are playing Super Princess Peach 2 on the 3DS. You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
Like buy something that isn't already out of date. I think that's.
Do they still sell the DSi? It's got about $100 now or something new.
I think they still sell it. I think it's $129 in stores.
Oh, that's pretty expensive.
I think that's what it is. I was just doing some price shopping, looking for pink ones because she is very much a girly girl that loves, like, if she could wear all pink every day and have like a pink room, everything in pink, see pink, like she would do that. It's kind of creepy actually. She loves pink so much. And yeah, if I got her a DS and it wasn't pink, I don't think she'd enjoy it as much. So yeah, it's trying to find the proper replacement for her without like spending way too much on something that is way outdated already. So
yeah.
So yeah, that's but yeah. So anyway, I want to get a 3DS for Kara just so we can play Animal Crossing together. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Moving on. What else have you been playing since we?
Only one other thing, and it's Civilization 5 on the PC. Tom and I were talking earlier late last week, and he had offered for me to borrow his laptop because he has a desktop and he doesn't use it other than to watch Netflix and to do like some web browsing or whatever in bed, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll take it, borrow it for a bit, and play some games on Steam because I've been missing playing PC games for basically the last 8 years since I got rid of my PC and switched to Mac for basically professional purposes. So he lent it to me, and I installed Steam on it and got my games back. And he had a free copy of Civilization 5 that I loaded on there, and So when did I start playing this game? Monday. And I looked after I finished playing today, and I have 17 hours played this week.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's just like, it's a game where you lose days, you know? Animal Crossing is a game where you lose hours. Civ is a game where you lose days. It is crazy. The first night I played it, Tom and I played an online game, and we got through about 70 to 80 turns. I always play Marathon, which is 1,500 turns long. I like the slow burn of building up a civilization. And he went to sleep. I put on a render and had about 2 hours to kill. So I was like, well, I'll start up a game by myself. So I start Marathon game, large maps, continents, and I played until like 5:30 in the morning. And wow. I looked at my watch every once in a while. And I'm like, okay, it's 1 o'clock. I've still got like 40 minutes left on this render. And then at some point I just stopped looking, probably around 2 o'clock in the morning. And I remember looking up at the turns at the top of the screen, and it was like turn 180. And I'm like, oh, I'm pretty far into this. Like, I wonder what time it is. And I touched my, it was like 5:20 in the morning. And I was like, oh my God. And I look over the computer, and it had fallen asleep hours ago. The render is done. I could have uploaded the video already. And I'm sitting here going like, this is insane. Like, I'm not even tired. I want to keep playing. So I went and put the video on to upload to my Dropbox. Wow. Went back, played another 20 turns. I think I went to bed at like 6 o'clock in the morning, woke up at 10 and came back downstairs and started playing again. Like, it is a life-sucking game.
Wow.
And it is seen, because the new expansion, I think it's called Brave New World, came out recently. And it's seen like a resurgence of people playing it online. People are going crazy for it on Reddit. And I played a ton of Civ 4, probably about 200 hours worth, and really, really loved that game. And it's been since then that I have not played a Civ game in that long. So now I'm just completely addicted to it, and I just want to play it all. Like right now, I would cancel the show to play Civ. That's how good it is.
Wow.
And that's how bad this show is. Like, wow. The game is so addictive. Have you ever played a Civ game, Lloyd?
I have. Yeah. I'm not super addicted to that kind of game. I like it, but I'm not one that would ever lose days. I had friends that would, and they're like,
I thought you were just going to say I had friends, implying that I don't, which is why I dumped so many hours.
Well, I don't have to imply it. We all know what's what.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, I had friends, not growing up, but when I was like already 18 and above, where we'd all game, do different things. But I had a group of friends that would basically, they picked up Civ, and then the next thing you know, like, you don't see them anymore, and it's just like, what happened to them? And yeah, they were basically doing LAN parties with Civ, but they're playing the game single player. They were just sitting in the same room together playing Civ for 8 hours, and I'm like, dude, that's kind of weird. Like, do you talk to each other? I was like, well, yeah, sometimes we laugh about stuff that happened. I'm just like, wow, you guys are odd. But yeah, that's like certain personality types. That's the kind of game that you like, right?
But it's just like this, the epitome of micromanaging, where you're talking about just moving units. And the big change from Civ 4 to 5 is that they went to hex tiles instead of square tiles, which really just blows the game wide open. I mean, it sounds like a simple change, but it makes the game completely different and a ton of fun to play, a ton more strategic as well, too. And when you get into a game, I mean, in a marathon, I almost exclusively play marathon. You get into about 300 to 400 moves in, your borders start getting closer to other people's borders, and you have to really focus on your diplomacy. You have to talk to the other leaders if you've met them already. You have to say, like, hey, I want to see what you guys have in your town, so like we'll do an open borders treaty for a little bit. I'll pop in, check out stuff. You can pop into mine, you can check out stuff. Then we can figure out what we want to trade. If you have marble and somebody in a town that I own in my Civ wants marble, then we can trade, strategic resources and luxury resources. And it's unit management and time management, and then you're researching technologies, and you're making new units, and you're expanding your borders, and workers are making farms and roads, and it's just, I mean, it becomes this extraordinarily huge, deep game so quickly that for me, like, I mean, just talking about it right now, the laptop is right there within arm's reach, and I just want to go and play it because I'm so into it. Like last night, Tom and I think it's really funny if Gandhi is in our game. We think it's funny to like kind of screw with him because he's a peaceful guy. You take advantage of him, and then eventually, the way I like to play Civ is research science and military until you get to the nuclear bomb. Get everyone to be your friend, and then you just nuke everyone, and you win the game with a military.
You are a horrible person, Jeff.
Oh, I told Tom while we were having reps, like, I'm glad that I am not in charge of the red button because I would just be pushing it incessantly. But it's and the one on the iOS, Sinister in the chat room is talking about the iOS version. Civilization Revolution is also a really good game. It's also on the 360. It's a really good game, but it's significantly stripped down because of it being on a console. It can't be as vast.
Yeah, I played Civ Rev a lot on the iPad.
Yeah, I have it on my iPhone. It's a great game. Great game.
Yep.
But yeah, it's going to be a game I'm going to be talking about for at least a few more weeks before I shut up about it, because it's just so damn good, and it is so fun. Can you build
a baseball stadium in that game?
I wish. You know what? I'm right now. I'm in the
peanut butter and chocolate. Together.
I'm in not the Renaissance era, the modern era. No, not the modern era. I don't even know. But I haven't advanced up to, today. So maybe you can build a baseball stadium. Doubtful. That would be sweet. And then like go inside of it and it's MLB The Show. Like that would be my dream game right there. But yeah, it's a fantastic game, and I'd review it, but it's been out for a long time. I think 2010 is when it launched. And I know the newest expansion just came out, but I've only just played the base game. I haven't played any of the expansions. So this is a kind of a game where you need to put like 40 hours into it at least before you have a really good grasp about how big the game can be and all the different ways you can play it. So, but I'm loving it. And if you haven't played Civilization, and from what I'm talking about, it sounds like you would be interested. You should definitely go and pick it up. I think it's $30 on Steam right now.
Nice.
I think totally worth the price.
Very nice. Very nice. Very nice. Cool. All right. So that's it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Besides Animal Crossing New Leaf, I've been playing, Animal Crossing on my Wii U tablet is really kind of nice. But besides that, I am playing a little game called Pikmin 3, which I'm trying to open on my gamepad, which is the only reason why I have it here right beside me. But the menus are taking a bit of time. I thought they fixed that. I guess not. So I picked up Pikmin 3 earlier this week, and I've been playing it. Not getting as much time to play it as, unfortunately, as I would like. But I really, really like this game. Right around E3, P&P Games was having a deal where if you pre-order games from this list, you basically get $10 off when you pick it up. So I pre-ordered 4 Nintendo games. I pre-ordered Mario Kart 8. I pre-ordered Super Smash Brothers Brawl, or Super Smash Brothers on the Wii U. I pre-ordered the new Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, and one other game that I can't think of right now, but it wasn't Pikmin. And then everybody was like, you're not pre-ordering Pikmin? And I was like, no, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up. And like, really? You're probably going to want it. You should just put $5 down and then you can play it and pick it up on release day. I'm like, yeah, you know what? No, I don't think so. But the lead up to Pikmin 3 coming out, I was getting more and more hyped. Picked it up, and I am absolutely in love with this game. It's easily the best Pikmin. I've played 1 a lot, touched 2, so I didn't get too much play into 2, but Pikmin 3 is just perfect. So how I'm playing it, which is kind of funny, is I play. Sinister in the chat room is saying, "Can you play it solely on the gamepad?" And yes, you can. You can do off-screen play right on the gamepad, which is actually what I'm doing right here. You can see that that's the Pikmin main menu that I'm doing just on the gamepad, which is pretty good. But how I'm playing it is I actually have my gamepad on my lap while I'm playing, and then I play with the Wiimote and nunchuck, and it is probably the best control ever. You can basically touch the screen to move the map around and set waypoints. That way you can get an overview wherever you are just by looking at the gamepad, and then you have precise control with the Wiimote and nunchuck. I played it with just the gamepad, and I don't know, the controls are okay, but you don't really have the same level of fine control that you have with the Wiimote. When you move, your targeting reticule is always a certain distance away from you. And there's a way that you can make it so it isn't that far away from you, but then you have to like stop and hold a button and then move it in and out, and just it works, but it's not elegant. Playing it that way with the Wiimote and nunchuck is really, really good. So basically, Pikmin, if you're not familiar, it's just a game where you are on a planet and you're little aliens that basically control these little creatures called Pikmin. And for some reason, the Pikmin want to please you and want to be your friends. So you pluck them out of the ground and you throw them at people, and then they attack. So these things just want to be your friends, and you pick them up and you throw them at things. So you're a bit of a jerk, let alone the fact that you are basically raising an entire part of a world just to satisfy your needs on another off-site planet. So you're basically destroying the planet and throwing little helpful, cute creatures around. So I'm convinced that the aliens in Pikmin are jerks, but it doesn't change the fact that the game is really, really fun. So the game plays kind of like a real-time strategy game. You move around. You throw your guys to attack enemies or to pick up resources. They automatically will then attack and until they either die or you call them back. You basically control the Pikmin with whistle. So if you whistle, your little targeting reticule gets to be a big circle. And if a Pikmin is in the range of that whistle, they'll quickly run back to you. So you can throw guys. When they start getting in danger, you whistle and they come running back to you. And the whole point of this game is to basically, in this game anyway, is you need to find a part of your ship so that you can take off. Earlier Pikmin's always had different sort of reasons for being to drive the storyline. But this one, you're a crew of 3 people. and you have to find an overdrive key for your ship so that you can basically fly home because you want to go home. You landed on Earth or an Earth-like planet basically to find resources. So you're there to find fruit, you're there to solve puzzles and solve mysteries, and then eventually grab the key and slap it into your ship and fly home. So that is basically Pikmin in a nutshell. The thing that they've done with this one is, since you have 3 main people that are in your party, you can actually split up your group into multiple groups, up to 3, obviously. And you can actually, through controlling them and using the waypoint system on the map, you can actually send a group of people over here to do this thing, a group of people over there to attack those things, and a group of people over here to seek out new territory. And it's really well done. Like you hit a button on your Wiimote or gamepad or whatever control surface you're using to switch between all the commanders if they are separated from the main group. And then you can drag the map around and set a waypoint for them to move, or you can set an action just by using your controller to do whatever the action is you want. And they will kind of just do their own thing until you come back to them. So it's almost like I was talking about this on the Nintendo Pulse. It's almost like my first RTS from a control standpoint, but when you look at the depth of the game and all the stuff that you're doing, there's a lot of rock paper scissors type stuff going on, like the rock Pikmin's, not because it's rock and rock paper scissors, but because this is a good example. When they get thrown at something, they do a lot of damage because they're heavy, but then their attacks aren't that great because they're slow. Meanwhile, the red Pikmin, they're impervious to fire, so if you're fighting a fire enemy, you send them in. They do a lot of damage to anything. Meanwhile, the pink Pikmin, which are the flying Pikmin to carry things, you can throw them and they'll lift stuff up and carry it back to your base. They do almost no damage at all. So you have to kind of take a balanced team with you when you go around and figure out, kind of through rock, paper, and scissors, what are the best Pikmin to kill this enemy or cross this gap or to pick up the fruit to take it back to your ship. So even though the control method is kind of very simple, the depth of the game is pretty big. So yeah, that's pretty much Pikmin. I'm about halfway through the game. I'm taking my time going through it. I know people that have posted online that they beat the whole game in 8 days. 8 days in game.
That's fast.
I'm about halfway through the game and I'm on day 24, and I'm just taking time finding fruits, exploring, looking for objects to upgrade all my stuff. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I haven't completed it yet. Like I said, I'm about halfway through. I'll probably do a full review on Nintendo Pulse and maybe here probably next week once I have a chance to fully complete it. But I'm loving it. I'm actually using my Wii U again, which is almost as good as playing a good game, is the fact that I am using my Wii U again that I spent all that money on.
Yeah, it's just too bad that you're, not using the pad as much, like.
Oh, I'm fully using it to.
Oh, so you're not doing the nunchuck and.
I'm using the Wiimote nunchuck for control. So to move around the environment and target because I can point at the screen where I want to throw my Pikmin, and I'm using the tablet in front of me as the on-screen map to drag around to go through all the menus. So I'm using it more like a tablet than I am using it as a controller, just because having the fine control of the Wiimote and nunchuck definitely makes for a better, more enjoyable game for me. But I know people that play it off screen on their gamepad, and that's all they play. They don't even play it on their television because they play it in bed before they go to sleep, which is a weird way to do it. But to each their own. There's different ways to play it, and whatever way you play it it's a lot of fun. So check it out, Pikmin 3.
Was that a review?
No, it's just my first initial impression of the first half of the game. But it is it's a lot of fun. I am really, really digging it. Really digging it. All right, man. Do you want to take a break? We've been going for almost an hour now, and we're not even into the actual show proper.
Well, if you want to, we've got a couple of questions here from listener mail, and then do new releases and then take a break.
Sure, let's do that.
Yeah,
let's do that. Okay. So we got 2 emails in this week, which is great. We love hearing from you guys. You can email us at vgpodcast@gmail.com. Go to our website and click contact us if you don't want to email us directly, or you can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. If you send in a message or a voicemail, we will read it out or play it just like this. So Andre sent in a message. Hi, Lloyd. Hi, Jeff. Just wanted to ask your opinion on something. I was listening.
You're first?
Of course I'm first.
He says hi to you first. And also, I noticed in this message, your name is capitalized. Mine is also capitalized. So we're good. So maybe we are sharing the spotlight.
Well, sure. My name is first, and it should be.
I'm a little offended, Andre.
I'm the elder statesman of the podcast. I am older. I'm more mature.
You've been on one more episode than me. So maybe that's why you did it.
I've been on about 700 episodes when you factor in all the podcasts I've done on the podcast.
Yeah, but
network.
this is isolated here.
No, you have to factor in all the things. When someone's sitting there and typing in an email, they factor in all this stuff.
They do. He's sitting there going, "Well, Lloyd's have
they have a big flow chart. They have a flow chart, and they use trigonometry and diagrams, and they have like slide rules and abacus. Like it's a pretty
like 3 scientific calculators, like sin, cost.
They write an AI algorithm to actually figure this out in the most logical way. Like people don't just throw this stuff in, Jeff. Our listeners, they take the time. I'm considerably less offended now because I think that you should be spending your time doing something a little bit more productive. But anyway, let's get through the message. All right, moving on. Hello, Lloyd. Hi, Jeff. Just wanted to ask your opinion on something. I was listening to a video game music-related podcast, and they said that The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword would be better suited for the iOS platform than the Wii because of the controls. What do you think?
I don't really have a lot of playtime with it. Tom and I played it when we reviewed it on the bonus stage when it was a radio show year and a half ago at least. I don't think so. I think that very few games are better suited for the iOS because of the controls.
Right.
I mean, unless we're talking about if it was on the iPad exclusively, it might be better just because the screen real estate is significantly better. I didn't have a problem technically with Skyward Sword's controls. I had more of a problem with just the way the game presented itself. Yeah, I really don't think it would be better.
How would you do the action with the iPad? Like you're swinging your iPad around and then you accidentally let loose and it flies through your window or embeds itself in your wall.
I'm guessing maybe more like how, what is it, Infinity Blade does, right? Where you just swipe the screen.
I guess that would be something. I don't know. Like I think Skyward Sword was a perfect example of gameplay on the Wii, how it was initially envisioned when they first developed this thing. It's like, yeah, you can have lightsaber battles and you can have Link and Zelda adventures, and Link can have a shield and a sword, and Zelda can do her transforming thing by doing a gesture. And it's just like, I get what they were going for with this. The controls were really kind of janky, unfortunately.
Yeah.
If you had the Wii Motion Plus, which is supposed to give you better controls, and the controls weren't really that better in some instances. I like the game. It's from what I played of it, it's a Zelda that I haven't played through. I tried it, and I still don't own a copy. It's one that I want to get. But from what I've played, it was okay. It's a game that, like, you're playing an epic RPG and you're like doing this, and you can't really see it in the video, but you're like swiping through the air. It's
quite silly.
That would be really tiring after a while. So yeah. I don't know. Maybe playing an Infinity Blade style, like you said, Jeff, would be okay. But everybody has to get over the fact that Nintendo should go cross-platform, because it will never happen. I'm pretty sure Nintendo as a company will cease to exist before Nintendo will put their stuff on another platform. They're that stubborn about it, and they've reiterated it so often that I really highly doubt that it's going to happen. But yeah, like maybe Skyward Sword on the Wii U would be better because you could swipe the screen instead of playing with the Wiimote. Maybe something like that would come out. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I think the controls were, as janky as they were meant for the Wii U. It was designed with the Wii. It was designed for the Wii. It didn't work that well, unfortunately, depending on your setup as well. Like some people have a lot of other IR emitting things in their house. If they put the lights on, those are sources of IR. They can confuse things, especially when you're doing like big sword movements, because then it picks up different IR signals when you're over your shoulder. Yeah, it just shows kind of the fault of motion gaming, where it's good, but it's not one-to-one perfect as everybody would want it to be.
Yeah, Kinect has the best motion gaming system because it doesn't rely on a controller.
Yeah, and even then it's
And even
janky
it's
as all
really
hell.
silly. Yeah. Yeah,
Unfortunately,
it doesn't work as. I mean, I guess with the Xbox One, with the Kinect sensor being upgraded, it's probably going to work a lot better.
Yeah,
But
probably
you
will.
know, I think it'd probably be better than Wii Motion Plus because that was when
Yep.
they said it's about as close as 1-to-1 as we can get. I believed that, but it certainly wasn't as close as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, like Wii Motion Plus is pretty amazing. But
It is.
But you're still relying on the IR sensor for a lot of the movement. You're relying on the gyros more than the IR sensor, but still for a lot of the things, like it's still picking up the IR and it can confuse it. Like for me, I couldn't play my Wii in the living room at Christmas time because every single light on my Christmas tree was an IR, like it would pick up on the sensor. So my Wiimote would just go all over the place. It was crazy. And like, yeah, Prometheus in the chat room says too much calibrating. Yeah, the whole taking your Wiimote off, undoing the strap that Nintendo pretty much forces you to put on through all the nag screens, and then putting it flat on a table, and then picking it back up and going back to it. Yeah, I mean that it takes you out of the fun.
And it didn't always work too. Like it gets you to do it again sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think that like for me, like keyboard and mouse or a controller are always going to be superior than a touchscreen because of the way that a controller just utilizes more of your hand. You know, your fingers wrap around it. You've always got buttons close by.
Right.
And when you have a game like Skyward Sword, which rudimentary is quite simple, you put that on a touchscreen, and if it's, I mean, it would never work at all on an iPhone just because of how small the screen is. You know, you could probably do an okay version on the iPad, but you're talking about, you know, how do you draw the bow? How do you aim and move and shoot at the same time? How do you cut with your sword and move at the same time?
Right.
And then that developers also got to think like, how is this person supposed to hold this damn thing? Are they going to be picking it up and holding it and then putting it back down to play when they have to move around, then picking it up again? Like, the form factor just isn't there. So it's, I think I understand what they're saying by why they think it would be better, but just in my head, a touchscreen is never superior. And
No.
I don't think they ever will be.
No,
at least for me.
If it's a game that has fast action and you're putting your hand in front of the screen blocking a part of it, it's tough. It's definitely tough to recommend that at all. So, thanks for the email, Andre. Hopefully you're not more confused than you were before you sent the email out, because I think we kind of went on all sorts of tangents there. So
we'll send an email next week. What were you guys talking about when you answered my question?
It'll be hi Jeff, hello Lloyd, just to make you feel better about yourself, Jeff, because I know your ego is very, very brittle. So
I just shattered after that.
I could see the one tear trickle down your cheek. I can still kind of see.
You're lucky you only saw one tear, because there were more after you turned away.
I just didn't care. I think that's what it was. I noticed one and I just went, again, whatever, that guy. All right, moving on. Second email is from James, and his email is, hey guys, I'm sending this off on Friday, so hopefully I'm not too late, and you're not. Here's my question. Recently, Sony announced that the PS4 will have its RAM allocated to about 4.5 gigabytes for developers, and the rest will be used for its OS. Is this a bad thing? For those like myself looking for a super powerful console, are we out of luck, or am I just too hung up on numbers? Keep up the good work, guys. And this is from James. I saw that announcement as well. And I've also seen a couple other follow-up kind of discussions from developers. And basically, the system's going to ship with, I believe it's 8 gigs of RAM. Some of that's going to be tied up with the OS and handling the various other parts of the system. From what I understand, a lot of the RAM that is going to be taken up by the OS can be quickly paged in and out of memory to external storage. So while initially, once you boot from the OS into a game, you'll only have 4.5 gigs of RAM available. You'll be able to actually allocate more than that. And then you can also do paging, so you can bring things in and out of memory really quick just by paging it in and out, similar to what a PC does. What you have to understand is the RAM that you're going to have available is about 4 times more than what you have available now as a PlayStation 3 developer. So you look at some of the games that are out there now, like Last of Us, all that stuff, like all the games that came out in this last generation are amazing compared to first gen stuff. And then you look at like basically increasing the texture memory, increasing the amount of stuff in memory by 4 times, and you just imagine kind of what developers can do. And that's just initially on the system, because then they're going to start finding tricks. They're going to find ways to optimize memory utilization, find quick ways to page things in and out quickly, to not add frame rate drops or any slowdown. So maybe initially there might be some issues. People are saying, "Whoa, this is where the Xbox One is gonna really succeed." And the Xbox One, at the end of the day, doesn't really have much more RAM than the PlayStation 4 at all. So,
I think don't they have the same amount? And
yeah, but the Xbox One is not using as much memory for their OS. They say.
Okay, yeah.
Even though the Xbox One is running 3 operating systems at the exact same time.
Yeah, and it's also a slower version of RAM. They're on GDDR3, right?
Exactly.
And the PS4 is on 5 or 4?
Yeah, it's on super fast RAM, and the super fast RAM is really close to the CPU bus as well. So the PlayStation 4 will have fast RAM, really short path from the RAM to the bus. So paging in and out of memory is going to be super, super quick as well. So I don't see it as a problem. I saw that, and initially my gut was just like, oh, this sucks. But at the end of the day, it's faster RAM. There's easy ways to take some of the stuff that is being allocated by the OS and push it aside when it's not being used. And then you know that if it becomes an issue, Sony's going to optimize things. They'll take a gig or 2 of that RAM that they're using and just not have it resident, and maybe have different ways of paging stuff in and out from an OS level, instead of just having it all stay resident the whole time. So I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I guess the first couple multi-platform releases that come out will really kind of tell you if there is going to be an issue. Like if a game is less framey on the Xbox One than the PlayStation 4, which should be the better system, then you know that definitely there's going to be some RAM issues.
Yeah, and we'll see that almost immediately when basically the first multi-platform game to come out. We'll see a side-by-side almost immediately on the internet, because people want to know, what is the better looking console, and it will be measured very minutely, but there's going to be some very critical eyes on it. For me, when I first heard that out of the 8 gigabytes that they have inside the PS4, that only 4.5 are going to be dedicated to the developers and how they're going to program their games, I was a little bit turned off, because I thought, I thought it was originally going to be 6, like a lot of people, which is a big amount. But then I thought about the PS3, which has a significant amount of its RAM allocated to games and not very much allocated to its OS, which is a big drawback of why I don't like the PS3 as much as the 360. The OS on the PS3 is very slow. If you've ever had to answer a message or see if your friends are online, or kind of stuff is extremely slow. Where it has to even just like.
I just remembered. I thought the PS3 had 1 gig RAM, and that is incorrect.
Okay.
The Xbox 360, I believe, has 1 gig. The PlayStation 3 only has 512 meg of RAM.
Oh, wow.
It has 256 megs of RAM that is dedicated to the GPU, and then a shared 256 meg of RAM. So it really only has 256 megs of RAM for active processing. The rest is going to be for texture memory and some shared texture and some processing stuff. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's less than I thought. So you're going to have at least 8 times more RAM available initially, and then up to 16 times when you factor in all the RAM that is in the system, whether you can use it or not.
Yeah, it's going to be plenty fast, and I would love for the OS to just be a little bit faster. When you have to let's say I'm in a game and I want to, do anything, press the home button and it brings up that screen. And more often than not, it's got to load up those cycles, it doesn't just instantly pop up like the Xbox menu does. Mm-hmm. And I always felt like those were a little bit of a, kind of a drawback for why I didn't enjoy the PS3 as much. I mean, God forbid I have to go and see what kind of trophies I have. It's going to take quite a few minutes. Okay, that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's going to take some time.
I've played so many games that sometimes if I'm in a game that is using a lot of memory and I bring up my XMB, I go to the trophy list, and then I try to get out of the trophy list, I have to wait for minutes for everything to continue to load before I can close that menu out.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane.
And now with the way that the next gen, I guess we're about to be calling it the current gen, is going to be, put together, a lot of this stuff is going to be integrated with stuff like Facebook and Twitter and Twitch, and that's going to make that stuff a lot faster. If you want to share an accomplishment or an achievement in your game, now you have the opportunity to, do that quickly without having to wait for like 5 minutes, while your menu loads up and all that kind of stuff. So, originally I was like, 4.5, but now that I didn't realize it was 4 times more memory. I mean, that's crazy.
And that's at the low. At the low. I mean, it's 8 times at the low and 16 times at the high. For that. So that's crazy. But then you look at the speed of RAM. The PlayStation 3 can read at about using the cell. So the main processor, it can read RAM at about 24.9 gigabits a second. The PlayStation 4 bandwidth will be about 176 gigabits a second when you look at the speed of the RAM and the speed of the bus. So like 24 gigabits to 176 gigabits. So even just the speed, even if it only used 256 megs of RAM, it could page it in and out so fast that you would have the same performance as the PlayStation 3. So I'm not scared too much about it, but like I said, we'll see when the first multi-platform games come out, and if there's a big issue on the PlayStation 3, we know that there's some issues there. Yeah,
and they're both gonna be fast. They're both gonna be really smooth, and if they're not, I'd be really, really surprised. Yeah. But both of these companies have a track record of, especially when it comes to Sony, they know what they're doing with hardware. They don't necessarily know what they're doing with software, but I think they're starting to figure it out a little bit more.
For sure. Cool. All right, James, thanks for sending in your question. Hopefully,
it was a good one.
Hopefully we answered that one for you. Let's get into the last little segment before we take a small break. New releases for this week. Of course, Pikmin 3 came out on Sunday, so that's out there. Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons came out on XBLA. I'm hearing some people say it's really good and some people that say it's kind of eh. I don't really know too much about it. So
I'm hearing mixed things as well, too. I mean, the reviews have been pretty high, 7.5 and 8, most of it, but how do you trust that? I don't know these days.
It's really kind of tough. Also out, Tales of Xillia is coming out on the PlayStation 3. Ib and Ob is coming. I have no idea what that is.
It's a PSN game.
Really? Oh,
okay, so the PSN has this, what the hell is it? It's called Play 2013. And it is basically like the Summer of Arcade for the PSN.
Ib and Ob is part of that?
I think so. Is it not?
I don't think so.
Maybe
I could be wrong.
Yeah. Maybe it's not part of it, but it's certainly on the it's on the PSN.
Yeah, if it's on PSN, that's fine. But yeah, it looks really odd to me. I'm looking at their website right now.
It's like a weird little. I mean, they had another one. It was like a what the hell was it? Like a secret agent game or something. A couple of weeks ago that has actually done pretty well. We talked about it on the last show, I believe, and I kind of wish that the dashboard on the PS3 did as good a job as showing you what's coming up in terms of purchases that you can make in the future, as well as the Xbox did or does with its tiles. Unless you go over to the store, you don't really know what's coming up, or if you look in that tiny box on the top right of your screen.
Sure.
A lot of unused real estate on that thing that I kind of wish would be, again, I don't really like to be shown ads, but if it's something that the PS3 is going to be, thinks I'm interested in, show it to me. I'm there to play games. I might want to buy another game.
That's what the PlayStation 4 is going to do for you. It's going to start downloading stuff that you might like.
Because
it knows what you play, which is pretty cool. And Ib and Ob is part of Play. I don't know why I've never heard of this, because I was actually going to pre-order some of these games just to get the cash back. But Ib and Ob, wow, bizarre. Maybe I read it wrong. Maybe I thought it was Ibby Obby or something, or Ib Bob or something, because
it's a weird name.
It's really
it kind of looks like a cute little game.
It looks kind of interesting.
I think it's $10, right?
Yes, $9.99. Yeah. It's a 2-player co-op game set in a puzzle-filled world where gravity goes both up and down. Gravity-based platformer. Ib and Ob, so check that one out. Dragon Crown came out this week as well. It's available both on PlayStation 3 and the Vita. It is not cross-play, so if you want to play on both, you have to spend $90, because it's $50 for the console release, and it's $40 for the Vita release.
Which is crazy, by the way.
Well, maybe. It would be like if you bought Madden. I expect Madden on my Vita. or I expect it on my PlayStation 4 as well, and my 360. I could see why they don't want to do it, because they're basically running out of money. Atlas will not exist soon unless they start making money. So I could see why they wouldn't want to do that. But you'd think that Sony would kick them some money to do that, because of any game that came out recently, this would be the one that I would want crossplay on, because I'd love to take my Vita with me and play some Dragon Crown.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just really hard to do it. But if they made a Vita port of the game, I can't imagine that it's very hard to do it.
It's just the money. It's the money thing. Yeah. Like they don't want to give you a free version when you buy one. They want to sell you the game twice for $90, which I understand, because it was a long development process for this game. It took
all of these games are. I mean, you can't. I mean, unless you're doing some free to play thing, it's really hard to make a big sprawling game for cheap.
And it's different when you're first party, like when you're when you're Santa Monica Studios or someone that is working on a Sony property, and Sony says you're basically going to make a Vita version and we're going to give it away for free when someone buys the PlayStation 3 version. You're like, I get a paycheck anyway. That doesn't matter to me. Yeah. When you're a smaller company that is basically on the brink of bankruptcy, you can't really afford to do that. So I want to buy this game. There's just too much good stuff out right now. I'm torn. I don't know if I'm going to get the PlayStation 3 or the Vita version. I want the bigger screen, but then I also want to be able to carry it around and have some portability on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just really nice to play a game on the Vita every once in a while, that isn't... Yeah. I mean, as much as I love baseball, it's depressing that the only thing I play is baseball on that damn thing. And also, I should have put on this list, but if you're a PS Plus member...
it's in the news, actually.
Oh, is it? Okay.
In the news. So, and also out this week, before we get into a break, is Mario and Luigi Dream Team, which comes out on Sunday as well. So it's a huge Nintendo week. I mean, we have Pikmin 3 this week. We have Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Then we have Disney Infinity comes out the following week, which isn't a Nintendo title. It's cross-platform. But I know a lot of people are going to be playing it on... their Wiis and their Wii U's. I pre-ordered it on the Wii U, so I'll be picking it up on the Wii U for my kids. And then we got a whole bunch more Nintendo titles coming in August and then into September. It's like stupid to be a Nintendo fan right now. It's stupid to be a gamer right now, because it's that type of release on every console. But it's kind of rare to get so many first-party titles from Nintendo in such a small period of time. So
especially when it's not Q4.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe they realize that, like, hey, there's nothing coming out right now. If we put out some games that we know people are going to want to play, maybe it'll also spur console sales as well before Christmas, and then our back library will get us more sales. I don't know. Maybe that's what they're thinking. And hopefully that's what happens, because, Nintendo's in a little bit of, I guess, I wouldn't say trouble, but they haven't been doing great lately. And I think part of it is the fact that you have to have a Donkey Kong and a Mario, every year at least to keep people interested in your product. Because that's the only reason to buy a Wii U is to play Nintendo exclusives,
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like the only reason.
Pretty much.
Unless you want to play Mass Effect 3, but only have $200. I don't know, but poor Nintendo.
Yep. All right. Yeah, I think that's going to about do it for new releases. Let's take a small break so I can grab some water and rest my voice. And let's do this. Let's do a random chip tune. We'll see what happens. Haven't done that for a while, Jeff. So hold on tight. We'll see how it goes. So we'll be back in a minute or two. Take a small break, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Come on. All right, Starship Amazing. That's not too bad. All right, we are back. The first track that played was a minute and 10 seconds, so I let another one come back into it. So that was the reason why there was two songs that sounded drastically different. We're back.
It's a good story. It was a good story.
No, it's not really a good story. It was just
you put heart into it, and that's really what counts. People come here to hear the heart.
I needed to get some water, so I got some water, and now I'm watered. And
see, I got happy. Carly to bring me water.
Oh, geez, Carly, bring me some water. Does that work?
No.
Damn. All right, moving on. Let's get into the rest of the news.
Yeah.
First up is a big one, kind of, but not really. What is it? There's two. Oh, we'll cover that in the second one. We'll talk about the first one. Sharing and streaming. So that's basically recording your video play and sharing it up to the internet, either in clip form or actually a share of your actual gameplay while it's happening, a full stream of it, is going to be free on the PlayStation 4. But according to Xbox, you're going to need an Xbox Live Gold account to do that on the Xbox One. So, again, this is another media service on the Xbox that you're not using Microsoft's data at all. You're using a third-party service, yet you need a gold account to do it. So for like Netflix, for Hulu, for all the streaming services, like even Game Trailers TV, like which should be free to everybody, you need a gold account to do it. And now
I'm surprised they haven't put Bing behind a paywall.
Yeah, like to do web browsing, you need a gold account. It's just it's really weird. I thought of anything that would be the first thing that would disappear off of Microsoft's console, because it like every TV now has Netflix. You don't need to buy a gold subscription for your television to do it. So I was hoping
my phone has it, the Wii has it, PS3 has it. You just browse.
There's a fridge that you can get that is a smart fridge that will play Netflix.
Yeah, they're built into TVs, into certain smart TVs now. I mean, it just like
so bizarre.
I love my Xbox. I love it, and I love the platform that Xbox is built on with Xbox Live. Having said that, there are so many features that are locked behind a paywall, and that is horseshit. It is ridiculously unfair.
Yeah.
It is clearly a cash grab that like you can't just plug your Xbox into the internet and watch Netflix. I don't understand how it's like Netflix should say to Microsoft, hey, by the way, go to hell. Like you can't do this because there are going to be people we make Netflix cheap for a reason, $8 a month. Very few people can't afford that. Don't then put it behind another $60 paywall.
Well, it's $15 a month. Obviously, it's just Microsoft needs their cut.
It's just totally crap.
It's ridiculous. At least you can do all that stuff for free on the PlayStation, which is nice. You can do all streaming services for free. And now you'll be able to stream for free. So you'll stream to Twitch or Ustream or whatever the PlayStation 4 is going to use. You hit the share button, and you don't have to have a PlayStation Plus account for people to watch that, which is pretty darn cool because, Microsoft damn well was going to do that. Sony could have done that just to eke out a few extra dollars from the few people that would only want to do streaming and maybe not anything else.
Yeah, and I have no problem paying for multiplayer on Xbox Live. And when it comes to the PlayStation 4, to play multiplayer, you have to have a PSN account. That's fine with me. I think that that's the way it should be because they can put that money back into making the network stronger.
There's a cost to the company to run those servers, so it makes sense.
It was a great charity thing for the PS3, and it's going to remain that, and that's also really great. But man, Microsoft has some really clearly greedy practices that I think Sony would probably want to do themselves because they're a company and they want to make money. But at this point where they're competing head to head with Microsoft, they want to make sure they keep the edge, and they continue to do so. And I know that Microsoft especially has been, at the beginning it was like, oh, no used games, and then they're like, all right, okay, fine, we'll do used games, and then it's like, always on, yeah, that's a thing, and then we're like, okay, well maybe not, and they keep going back, and internet hate seems to still be extremely big, which I don't know how that really translates into real world hatred of Microsoft. I think the console is going to do very well on launch anyway. But when it comes to, them just making the wrong decision, I mean, they're batting 1,000 at this point, if you want, you can't sell a console and have as one of the tick off boxes on the back of the box of when you buy it, game streaming and game DVR. You can't have that on there if it's then behind another paywall, because that is just total BS to me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. So, one step forward, two steps back from Microsoft.
That's if they're lucky, they go 2 steps back.
Exactly.
You know?
So next up, Major Nelson posted a unboxing of the Xbox One. I hate unboxings. This one was only remotely kind of interesting because it was done by a Microsoft employee for PR. And the only good thing to come about it is Microsoft has finally relented on the whole including a microphone of some sort in with the package.
Headset thing.
Because they didn't want to do it. They said, no, we're not going to do it. Well, they heard people complain. So this is yet another 180 that Microsoft has done and said, oh, yeah, no, we're gonna put it in. So there's going to be a free chat headset in with every PlayStation 1 or a PlayStation 4 rather, and every Xbox One. So you'll be able to voice chat regardless on which console
it
you're on.
It seemed very bizarre to me that they were not going to include that, seeing as they're the company that started that. We're like, hey, you buy a console, you get a headset for free.
And they repeatedly attacked Sony over it as well.
Yeah. and quite frankly, it was a good attacking point because Sony didn't have a headset, and when they finally did, the one that you had to buy was $70, and it was a piece of junk, and when they brought out a chat pad, it was on the top of the controller, and it was ugly and horrible for ergonomics. But and then Microsoft's like, this time we're not going to do that. That thing that made us super successful and kind of helped really build our online empire. We're not going to do that.
The reason why everybody wanted to multiplayer on our console as opposed to anything else, we're not going to do that again because we love shooting ourselves in the foot. That's our new hobby here at Microsoft. Xbox One unboxing by Major Nelson. We'll link to it if you want to watch it. It just looks
kind of awkward.
It's a big black box with a black controller and a black privacy invasion eyeball thingy and a headset. So if you like looking at black shiny plastic, that is definitely a video that you should take a peek at.
And this is the day one Xbox, and they were like, here's what everybody's been waiting for, and he pulls out the controller, which I still like. I'm very interested to see how this controller feels in the hands as well as the PS4. But he's like, this one has a day one tag on the front.
Yeah, and it has a chrome D-pad, not the black one. D-pad. It's a chrome D-pad.
That's what you're paying for day one, guys.
So it can show more Cheeto dust on it than
By the way,
standard.
It's absolutely not chrome. It's just silver.
It's just silver plastic.
It's just painted silver. It's just, and then he's like, oh, and we haven't said anything about this yet, but we think you're really gonna like it. Here's the on-off button. It's the same button that's on the already the 360 Slim. It's just the Xbox logo.
Well, it's because people were complaining that you can't turn it off and it's always going to be spying on you. So they want to cover all the, hey, look, we're good as well. We're not going to invade your privacy that much.
I guess, yeah.
But anyway, and that's enough. I don't like to bash Microsoft, but it's just like all these decisions they're making lately are just so aggravating,
just bizarre.
Oh, it's just so bizarre. Anyway,
it's like all of their PR people just graduated, and then they're like,
oh, to lunch, and interns are making these decisions and posting them online without anybody knowing, and it's just like they come back. What did you put online? Oh, I brought you a coffee. Come here, and they rustle his hair.
Yeah. Let's go and fix this.
It seems like that is happening. It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's very bizarre. I will say one thing. When Larry Herb, Major Nelson, takes the Xbox console out of the box, the first thing I said was, sweet Christ, that thing is huge. Yeah. It looked really heavy, by the way, and it
Did he have a weight belt on? Did he have a weight belt?
Exactly. It looked like he was straining to pick it up. I mean...
That's why it's been built to last 10 years, because it actually contains 8 copies of itself and they slowly burn away.
Yeah, it's the Russian dolls of Xbox.
Yeah. It's a nesting console. You have to peel off its outer layers. It molts once every year and you have to peel off the old layer.
Gigantic. I mean, it's like 3 MacBooks stacked on top of each other.
That's redonkulous. Huge. All right, moving on. Let's get into some other news. I always do this every month. Let you know if you're a PlayStation Plus member, as I am, what games.
And I am too now.
And you are now, which is awesome. You're getting some free stuff too, so it's not just me lording over you with my free games. Now you can join in with the freebies as well. After
14 months, you finally wore me down.
I know. No one said you were quick, Jeff. They just They just said that you eventually will get stuff done, and
Yeah.
that's what you did. So August, PlayStation put on their blog the games that are going to be coming out in August. And first up is a game that came out about 6 months ago, and that is Hitman Absolution. I guess it came out about 7.5, 8 months ago.
Yeah.
So a game that is about 8 months old is your first free title. Let's talk about Microsoft again for a second. They have their free games again. They've given out, what did they give out? They gave out Fable 3. That was the game that I forgot.
Arguably the worst in the series, and it's available for like $9 on Steam.
Yeah, exactly. So Fable,
or if you, it's also packed in for free in consoles.
Exactly. So Fable 3.
Yeah.
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing's now on the
Assassin's
360.
Creed 2, which is another really old game.
A game from 2010 or 2009.
I think it was
like,
2008. Actually, I think it was.
God,
it was pretty
so
old.
It's so old.
The game that they just put on their program right now is Crackdown, which came out. Though its reason for fame was that it came with a Halo beta on it. So this game came out 6 years ago, and that is your freebie.
Yeah, the Halo 3 beta, yeah. So that's the only reason people bought it. And it is a really great game until you have to like shoot people and stuff.
Crackdown was probably the most fun I had on my 360. It was such a great game.
It's a really good game.
But it's like what? It's 6 years old to almost 6 months old. Like Sony knows what they're doing.
Here's the thing,
Sinister's correcting me. Assassin's Creed 2 did come out in 2009, not 2008. Anyway, 4 years is pretty bad.
Jesus.
But yeah, this is like it's like Sony or Microsoft gives you a game that is X number of years old, so then Sony goes and gives you a game that's X number of months old.
And it's not like Sony has just started giving since the beginning of PlayStation Plus, they've always given games that are within a year of being.
And some games were given away free on release day.
Yeah.
Like there was some PSN downloadable titles that were available for free on release day, or you could pay $10 to download it if you're not a member. And then people are like, well, I'll give you $50. I'll get that game that I was going to buy anyway, and then I'll get all this other free stuff. Yeah. They're doing it the right way. So yeah, right now you can download Hitman Absolution, which is a game I didn't like so much, but I know a lot of people love the Hitman series, and it comes with a bunch of the DLC for free as well, which is pretty cool. Also announced for this month.
It comes with the DLC?
Yeah.
All of it?
Yeah, it comes with the...
is cool.
Not all of it, just a big chunk of it. So the Deus Ex stuff and some other things as well.
Okay, so just some of the guns and
some of the pre-order bonus content that you would get, or stuff that you'd have for other save games. That content will be...
And I'm just reading this now, and it also comes with a discount on the digital version of Sleeping Dogs. I mean, that's how you do it. That's how you do it, right?
Yeah, you bundle it all together. It makes sense. Also coming out this month, we have BitTrip presents Runner 2, Future Legend of Rhythm Alien. This game's not that old. It's regular $15. Will be free for PlayStation Plus members. Zen Pinball 2, which is a cross-buy game, so you get it on both PlayStation 3 and the Vita. You get the full game. Well, not the full game. You get the base game, and then there's DLC for other tables if you want to add. But I think it comes with like 4 tables for free. For its regular $10, you get it for free. Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower, which was a PlayStation portable game, is going to be out later this month as well. And Missionarium, which will be coming out as a Vita game. So they haven't announced anything else, but they've announced those ones. Usually there's some freebies that kind of surprise you, which come out. And then they announced that there's a bunch of sales on right now. Like you can get Rayman Origins, which I had to hunt down and find a Vita copy. And I think I ended up paying like $30 for it. I can now buy Rayman Origins as a digital download on the Vita for $6.75 because it's on sale. It's redonkulous.
Or $5 on the PS3.
$5 on the PS3, which I might just do. So I have the PlayStation 3 version, which I might actually play a little bit more than the Vita version. Rayman 3 is $250. Sony's doing it right. They're doing the Steam way of sales and stuff.
But they're just not there. You know, they really are. It's a great way. That is a great way to describe it. They absolutely are doing the Steam sale thing. I mean, the way Microsoft does it, right, is you give us $60 for the year, and every month we'll give you a game that you can find for $5 at, any GameStop in bulk. Mm-hmm. So you would break even if you haven't played these games already, which you have, because they're a half decade old.
Yeah, exactly. Like
ridiculous.
if you add up all of the Rayman games that are on sale right now, you're pretty much getting every Rayman game that has ever come out for like $14 on the PlayStation Network, and that's the Vita and PlayStation 3 versions. I mean, that is exactly what Steam does. They bundle everything together and they give it to you for a stupid price.
And the real like disgusting part of the Microsoft one is that come release of the Xbox One, this is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
So like giving a bunch of free crap
Yeah.
for people who have paid, like I've paid for Xbox Live for 5 years, all right? Not that I'm like green about it or anything. Like I think I got my money back in tenfold, right?
Yeah.
But that's me. But to then say, hey, you know, we appreciate your business, here's nothing, basically.
Well,
is
the thing that gets me is Microsoft sells it as, well, you get to keep these games forever, even if you cancel your subscription. And it's like, I have like 30, 40, 50, 60, 80 games on my PlayStation right now that I got for free. If I was to let my PlayStation Network lapse, well, I know I'm not going to keep these games. And I don't care. I've played them. I've beat them. I don't like them. Whatever. Like you don't need to keep them as a digital library. It's like signing up for Netflix. You pay a monthly fee. You get to watch all the TV shows and movies that you want. You don't get to keep them after you're done. That's what PlayStation Plus is like. To me, anyway, that's how I kind of sell it to myself.
I think the thing that PlayStation Plus does is it gives you a reason to stick around. You know, like I think when Microsoft says something like, hey, listen, when this is over, you get to keep these games, you know, that's all well and good, but you know, if I want to keep the games on PlayStation Network, you know, or PlayStation Plus, I have to keep paying, and I'm glad to do it. You know,
like you get more stuff.
I when it first came out, I was like, I don't know if I like this program because you don't get to keep the games. But that quickly faded away as the level and of free stuff was coming out. The discounts, I'm never going to buy a discount because I just don't want to, but I'm really there for the free games, and that alone is worth the $55 a year.
Yeah, like every month I've probably bought 2 to 5 games on PlayStation Plus that I paid about $5 each for.
Yeah.
Because they always have sales. Like I bought what game is it that I bought recently that was really fun? I can't even think of it. But I picked it up for like $5. Last month there was a couple games. This month I'll probably pick up Rayman Origins because it's $5. I can't find a used copy for $5. It'll be like $20 if I go buy a used copy, or I could buy the digital version and always have it on my PlayStation 3 for $5. Pretty damn good. So yeah, check it out. If you're not a PlayStation Plus member and you have a PlayStation 3, you are insane.
Yeah, you're missing out. You know, Trevor, like he listens to the show often, and he's a huge Sony fanboy.
Yeah, he hasn't come to the live show lately. You have to.
Yeah. I think he works a lot.
You have to guilt him into it a little bit more.
I believe he's actually working at Folklorama right now in one of the pavilions.
That's right.
But he does not, if you can believe it, he does not have PlayStation Plus.
He's the biggest supporter of Sony.
I know. And doesn't have it, and it's shocking to me because when you go into your friends list, you can see if they have the plus next to him.
Yep.
And everybody on my list except for him has the plus, and I'm like, "Are you Trevor? Doesn't it? Like, he's on PlayStation every day."
I should buy him a copy just so because I feel bad for him. He's actually he probably buys all the games that are free anyway, so he wouldn't really get anything out of it. He plays a lot of games. That dude.
He does.
Oh, did I give you an update of my Project Platinum that I was working on PlayStation 3?
Not for a couple weeks now.
Because I was platinuming all those kids games that I bought a long time ago. In the last couple weeks, I've gotten 3 platinums for kids games. I got Megamind. I got Transformers Dark of the Moon. I went last Saturday, and there was a bunch of people playing multiplayer, so I got my 4 multiplayer trophies in about 20 minutes, which was really great. So I platinumed that one, and then I picked up and platinumed...
All the people are probably trying to do the same thing as you.
That's exactly what it was. It was people just getting into matches, and every once in a while you hear a voice chat, "Hey, someone let me die first, please, so I can get that stupid trophy." And he'd run into the middle of the thing, and then everybody would wait and then just shoot him or whatever.
That's great. That's great.
And then the next day, after platinuming Transformers, I platinumed WWE Legends of WrestleMania, which is, it took me about 8 hours maybe of playing with the kids, showing them all these old wrestlers, like wrestlers that used to wrestle when I was a kid. It was
Arn Anderson.
Well, yeah, it was like the Ultimate Warrior, Big King Kong Bundy, Junkyard Dog, like all those guys. And then you had Andre Giant on the screen, and I'm playing Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant, and Nick, my son, looks at me and he's like, is that the guy from that movie? And I'm like, which one? He's like, the tall one. And I'm like, oh, maybe. What movie are you thinking of? He's like, oh, what is it? It's Princess. No, is it The Bride of Someone? I'm like, think about it. You know the name. He's like, Princess Bride. I'm like, yep, that's the guy from Princess Bride. He's like, that's cool. He was a wrestler and now he's a movie. Like, he was just like blown away that Andre the Giant was a wrestler before he was in one movie.
yeah. He was only in like a few movies.
Yeah, exactly. Which was really awesome. So we had fun playing all these old crappy games. And then I started up Green Lantern, which is a pretty quick platinum as well if you play through on the hard difficulty. And I got past, about a third of the, or two-thirds, no, about a third, not quite half of the way into the game. And then Pikmin 3 came out. So my Project Platinum's on hold until I have nothing else to play. So it'll probably be a few weeks to a month before I start platinum more crappy old kids games that my kids don't even want to play anymore.
So like I don't play a lot of the PlayStation 3, but I noticed that there's like a level that you get to. Mm-hmm. Now, is that based on the trophies that you have or the number of games that you've played, or what is it based on?
Yeah, it's based on the number of trophies that you get. So each trophy is worth an amount. So gold is worth more than silver, worth more than bronze, platinum's worth the most. And so a game like Burnout Paradise, for example, has a lot of trophies. So you can actually have more value platinum that game than you do like Megamind, which only has, I think, 16 trophies. So yeah, that's kind of what it does. So it adds it all together, and then it gives you an amount, like your level, and then it gives you the percentage, which is the percentage of the way that you're into the next level.
Gotcha.
That's kind of what it does. So yeah, it's kind of weird.
You've played a lot. You're only a few levels ahead of me, so it must just get like insane amount that you have to cross every.
Yeah, getting up to 10 takes no time at all, and then it's like every level after 10 takes a long time because I'm like level 14 now, and it took me a long time to go from 12 to 14.
Crazy.
A long time. All right, moving on from PlayStation Plus, Nintendo recently released a bunch of Street Pass games, which you could buy for $5 a pop. Or you could buy the whole bundle for $15. People are wondering how much Nintendo made from that, and they reported that they made about $4 million for putting out a collection of Street Pass games, and that was just in the first month, and it's been out for a little bit longer. So yeah, that's pretty damn good. So it became available mid-July or close to the second week of July, I guess it was, or early July. So yeah, like a month, and they made $4 million. And this is a news story from a few days ago, from about 5 days ago. So it's probably way over that now. So Nintendo can make a lot of money just by releasing little things on their console. So
$1 million a week doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, when people say Nintendo should be putting their games on other platforms, they just need to look at this story. They released Street Pass, which is like it's a small slice of the people that own a 3DS that would ever care about Street Pass. And there's enough of them to make Nintendo $4 million by releasing 4 little mini games. So yeah, Nintendo's not hurting for money, and they won't be in the near future. So I thought that was kind of a neat little news story for Nintendo.
For sure. Especially considering a lot of the news this year for Nintendo has been fairly, negative.
Sure. Yeah. Death of the company type stuff. Yeah, definitely. All right, moving on. Next up, John Carmack, who has been basically the face of the tech behind all of the id Software games, is now not really an id Software employee. I guess he's still working there, but that's not his full-time gig anymore. He's now he's a full-time employee at the company that makes the Oculus Rift VR headset, which shouldn't be a surprise to you because he's been high on the Oculus Rift ever since it was on Kickstarter. Yeah. He got an early unit. He made Doom 3, the BFG edition or whatever, a pack-in game for Oculus Rift.
He's one of the reasons why the Oculus Rift got so much early support when it was in Kickstarter, because he was tweeting about it,
and he was also in the video, talking about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, he is now an Oculus. He's the head of technology at Oculus VR.
Yeah.
He's still at id, so he's going to be working there as basically doing special projects and things like that. But he's mainly an id guy, and he also works for Armadillo Space Exploration, which is the rocket company that he started. Armadillo Aerospace is what it's called.
Yeah.
So he's a busy guy, but he's like a super smart uber nerd. So I think
he's a fascinating guy to listen to.
And I think he needs this personally. Like that, he's the type of personality where if he was sitting idle, he would be the most bored person in the world. So I think he really needs that.
Well, he's the guy that sits idle and then he'll create Doom. Like
he's always working on engines. He's optimizing engines and things like that. He's writing better algorithms to drive the propulsion motors in one of the rockets that they're working on, and that's fun for him.
Yeah.
So he's a special kind of person, and so now he's behind Oculus Rift, which immediately gives a lot of cred to Oculus Rift, and it makes me realize that this is probably going to be a product that will make it to market and will be around for more than like 3 months. It won't be another Ouya is kind of what I'm saying.
For sure. When I first heard about the Oculus Rift, I was like, that's a really cool idea, but I'm not sure if anyone is smart enough to make that work in a retail space. And over the last maybe, 3 or 4 months, there's been a ton of Oculus Rift news. People have been playing around with their kits, their dev kits and stuff. And I'm starting to see that this is the real deal. I mean, this is going to be something. They have to make it so that people aren't going to be barfing all the time and that you can play for more than a few hours without getting a mind-numbing migraine. But
sure.
QuakeCon was just a few weeks ago, and if you haven't seen John Carmack's keynote speech, you should definitely check that out because it's really fascinating. He's one of the most interesting guys in the game industry. Yep. Brutally honest, but he's not a dick about stuff, and he's just one of the best ambassadors for the gaming industry for sure. So I've been a longtime supporter of his, just because he's just so goddamn smart. Yeah,
he's a genius. He is ultimately a genius.
Yeah.
And the Oculus Rifts, from what I've heard from people that have used dev units while working on games, the unit that the developers have is like VGA quality, essentially. And it's super impressive. And then some of those developers use some of the HD sets they had at GDC, and they're like, oh my God, it's like watching a black and white movie, and then next thing you know, watching like Jurassic Park. It's like the jump in wow factor is just so much better on the newer units, and that's what the consumer units are going to be. They're going to be the HD units when they finally make it to market. So I am really excited for the Oculus Rift. I can't wait for it to come out. Hopefully,
it'll be really cool. From what I've read on Reddit, the original dev kits, because they're standard definition and they're so close to your, I guess, is VGA standard def or is it below standard def?
It's above standard def. It's above 540p because it's 6, or I guess it's above 480p, I believe, or maybe it is 480p because it's 640 by 480 for VGA.
Yeah, that's true. But either way, you're so close to it that people say you can see the individual pixels, which is obviously something that is not going to be in a final version. But I just think that that's funny that you're so close to it. And I think that definitely gets into a bit of the visual sickness. There was a good article today on Kotaku about a guy who has one eye who is playing the Oculus Rift and his kind of struggles with it. And there was a guy who
no depth perception is the biggest struggle.
Like, how do you play it, and then there was a guy the week before who sat down and played all through Half-Life 2 episode 1, which is like 4 hours straight, and got a big headache but didn't like puke or anything after he got it all set up. But it's certainly something that is a lot more taxing on your brain and your eyes than anything should be. So there's probably a little bit of a health hazard there for now, but like the old wives' tale, right? Like you sit too close to the TV, your eyes are going to go bad. If you're a kid, they actually become stronger because your eyes have to keep adjusting constantly. Any doctor will tell you that you sit that close and your eyes have to do a workout, which will make them stronger. But I don't know if you're like, already an adult and your eyes have stopped growing. It's certainly not a good sensation. Like put your hand in front of your face and just look at it for a long period of time. Your eyes are going to start to hurt.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
It's a weird thing, but I'm very excited to see where they go with it. Because, that's, when we talk about the future of gaming and not just the next generation, but generations to come, that's certainly in the discussion,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Oops, I switched to a camera. That was a big question mark. That was really weird. All right, moving on. Let's move to our next story, and that is Nintendo is, especially Nintendo in the UK, which is probably the worst market for Nintendo right now. A lot of the big chains in the UK have stopped selling the Wii U. They're having a hard time in that market. So their latest plan to explain what the Wii U is to hire a comedian, Rufus Hound, to basically come and crack jokes and explain to people what the Wii U is. Should I play a little bit of the video?
Absolutely, but I'd like to say first that if you were going to name your kid Rufus, you have assigned him one of two jobs. He's either homeless or he's a comedian. Those are the only two things you can do with the name like Rufus.
Wow, unless you're a musician.
Yeah, I guess I should have. Yeah, that's a good one too.
All right, so here's Rufus Hound.
Hi.
Yeah, I'll put it on video.
The gamepad.
That's not working.
Do great games require a gamepad? No, not really. But then, does your hot rod need a flame jolt? Does your burger need bacon? Does an ice cream sundae need a cherry on the top? No. But all these things take something great and make it better. The Wii U gamepad is a flaming bacon cherry of gaming glory. Now if I'm playing a game and I want to look at a map, I don't have to do this. Now, if I want to swap my bow for my sword or my gun for my really big gun, I don't have to do this.
Yeah, so he's basically scrolling on a big menu.
It's even more embarrassing just to listen to.
Pig farming on the telly, then I can pop the game onto my gamepad and carry on handing Bowser his backside. Easy. So, whilst the Wii U is pumping out all of my favourite Nintendo games in glorious HD, the gamepad is the Wii U's wingman, the Tails to its Sonic, the Luigi to its Mario.
This Sega reference is kind of funny in a Nintendo
is
commercial.
The Wii U difference.
It's just so weird.
I have so many things to say about this video, by the way.
Maybe it's worse because we're not European. We don't come from the UK.
I guess
maybe this kind of stuff is maybe their marketing is
like all these
rife
Brits are just sitting there clapping and laughing hysterically. You know, they're all buying Wii U's as we speak.
Yeah, it's odd. It's really awkward. It's trying to be edgy and funny, but in a Nintendo way, so it can't really be edgy. So it's being awkwardly edgy. Calling their console the flaming bacon cherry on top console is just like, really? What is that? That's the thing that you're actually putting in your marketing plan?
It's so brutal.
Bizarre, but Nintendo is really in trouble in the UK.
I mean, at least I guess you can say at least they're trying.
Yeah, I mean that's better than nothing. I
don't know if this is better than nothing.
I talked
Nothing
about
might be
this.
better than this.
I talked about this on Nintendo Pulse, and I had a perfect solution for the Nintendo Wii U problem.
All right, hit me with it.
Rename it right off the top. Call it the Wii 2. Say formerly known as the Wii U. Call it the Wii 2. Have new box logos, all that stuff. Call it the Wii 2. Immediately, the people that are in Best Buy that I see all the time, where kids are like, "Oh, Wii U, we need this," and the dad's like, "You already have a Wii. You don't need that thing." And they're like, "No, it's different. No, it's not. It's just a controller. We don't need another controller. You already have a bunch of those stupid controllers hanging around." So parents don't know what it is. Kids don't know how to explain to their parents what it is. So that's one major problem. Call it the Wii 2. Immediately, everybody knows what a sequel is because it happens in movies. It happens in music. It happens on TV. Everybody knows what a sequel is. So Wii 2, it's a sequel. Immediately, people will know that it's not the same thing as what they currently have. And then you give it a price drop. Drop $50, drop $100 off the price. I know Nintendo says they're already losing money on it still.
Do you think $100?
Oh yeah, they have
giving it away at that price.
They have to drop it. Like the deluxe bundle is $350. It should be $249, and then people will buy it because that's what they in masses were buying the Wii at. So
but I thought
drop
that
it to $249
they
and change the name, and there you go.
Did they not lose the core console entirely? It's only the Pro, and I thought the Pro dropped to $299.
No, the Pro
No,
is
am I
still
wrong on that?
the Pro is still $350, and you can buy the base console. A lot of places have actually blown it out. Actually, a Target in Canada was blowing out the base console for $150 just this last week. They had them on sale. So if you went to Target, you could pick up a Wii U for $150, which was just
Come down to Target, and we'll pay you to take this home.
Totally. But obviously it worked because all the people that I was hearing online talk about it said they went to Target, and Target was sold out of the base console because they all blew out the door at $150. So yeah, basically, change the name Wii 2, drop it to $250 for the deluxe bundle. Maybe give an ambassador program, so people that paid $350 can get some bonus back, like they did on the 3DS. And
yeah, which turned out to be like the most remarkable positive move.
Totally.
You know,
It's worked already.
The fallout from that was just fantastic. About as good of a reception as you could ask for.
Yeah, totally.
They dropped the price of that 3DS.
Totally. So yeah, this is kind of what has already happened once, and it worked. Price drop. And ambassador program, you couple it with the name change, and all of your problems in the market, too expensive, people don't know what it is, and pissing off the people that have already bought it, have kind of disappeared. And that is a perfect solution. Of course, Nintendo's going to lose money when they do that, but it can't be any more money than what they're losing by not selling games on this console.
Yeah, and I think the people that would get mad at the fact that the price would come down are going to be happy when more people have it, which means that more games are going to come out for it. You know.
And Sinister in the chat room says include a Wiimote with it as well. Which,
yeah, I think that's a good idea as well too.
Exactly. Yeah, that could work as well.
I mean, what does a Wiimote cost? $29 now, or
$49? I think they're still.
Ooh,
they're not cheap, or $39.
Cheap.
Yeah, they're not cheap, but I mean, if you already have a Wii, you could use that Wiimote with your Wii U. So if you're selling to people in upgrades, maybe that's not needed, but yeah, it would be a nice bonus as well, for sure.
I saw a picture on Reddit yesterday, which I mean may or may not be true. It actually is. It was a buddy of mine sent it to me on Facebook about a week ago, and I should have posted it up on a blog somewhere and got all this crazy like traction from it. But I know exactly the image that you're talking about. It's in a UK game shop, and it basically has a big poster that is above the game section where all the Wii stuff is, and it says, "Remember, Wii equals white case, Wii U equals blue case, or black case, yeah,
or blue case actually." Because they're all blue. The Wii U games have a blue plastic case. Oh
yeah, okay, sorry, the case, yeah.
And so it's like, wow, you have to basically like spell that out for people. I mean
that alone,
you're in trouble.
Just send shivers down your spine if you're Nintendo of the UK or whatever.
Call it the Wii 2, man. That's the easiest solution. Do you have a Wii or a Wii 2? I was like, oh, I have a Wii 2. Okay, you need these ones. Like, your parents come in. Which console do your kids have? Well, they have the Wii. Does it have a fancy controller? Oh, yeah, it has this controller that they use. Well, that's not very descriptive at all. But if they say, well, does it have a 2 in it? Does it have this big clunky controller? And maybe just saying, is it the Wii 2? That'll be enough for parents, because they already know that the PlayStation 1 went to PlayStation 2, went to PlayStation 3, is going to PlayStation 4.
Yeah. And I like as a video, we've talked about this a few times at least. As a video game manufacturer, as a console manufacturer, you have to take into account the ignorance of parents who do not want to care about this kind of stuff. You have to make sure that when they go to purchase something for their kid's birthday or for Christmas, that they have an easy way to understand what they're purchasing. Because when you ask for $350, you better show them what they're buying. And I think one of the biggest problems with the Wii U, obviously the name, right? So I remember when the Wii originally was codenamed the Revolution, right? And I was like, man, that is a cool name. I want to get the Nintendo Revolution. That is awesome. And then they were like, it's called the Wii. And I was like, that is stupid. And a lot of people thought it was stupid. And what happened was it became so popular that Nintendo was like, well, let's keep using this name. And now the notoriety of the old name has hurt the sales of the new console because it's so damn similar. And that's like this crazy ironic thing that like I hated the name so much, And now this name might be the bane of the future of the the console for Nintendo. It's insane. It's totally crazy.
Well, totally.
Also, this video sucks, by the way. If we're getting back to that point, this video is horrendous, and this guy is a goofball.
Well, it's awkward for the sake of being awkward. Like, it's purposefully awkward, and I mean, I get why they did it. It's just, it's kind of lame.
Yeah.
Like, when the Wii first was announced, I created a website called WiiSpot.com. And it wasn't because I wanted to support the Wii. It's because the Wii sounds like you're peeing. And so essentially I was calling a website called Puddle of Pee, is what I did. And it was a big joke. And the next thing you know, the Wii looked pretty cool. So I was like, all right, I'll throw up a website. And we started a podcast or whatever. But yeah, my initial reaction was like, the Revolution was such a great name. Now it's nothing but a pee joke. And then that was obviously proved wrong, and people did good stuff with it. Everybody loved the Wii. Like, old people that had never video gamed before were buying it to play bowling. They're never going to have that kind of sales momentum with the Wii U. But at least if they called the Wii 2, it would be less confusing rather for consumers. And they might actually move a couple units to parents that are just sitting there confused, because I can count at least a half dozen times where I've been in Best Buy or Future Shop and I've heard someone comment on the Wii 2 and they're confused as to what it is. And if you have your consumers in a store, just a general store, not like a game store, and they're confused at what they're buying or what they need, that is horrible. And I don't know how Nintendo can let that continue to happen. So they need like a name change. It's not going to cost Nintendo a lot at the end of the day. There'll be some confusion.
Has it ever happened in the history of the gaming industry that a console came out and then it got its name changed?
Never. I can't think of a console that did it.
Even though we both think it would help, and I think it really would, if I was at the head of Nintendo, that is a monster decision.
Oh, it's of course it is. I mean, all the marketing that you've done is kind of for naught.
I don't envy them at all if they have to make that call.
But it would solve a lot of the confusion problems, and then you could have the Wii 2, also known as the Wii U, or they could call the gamepad the Wii U controller. So if you find a game that is used and it sells the Wii U on it, it's not confusing for people. Like, they got to do something, because what they're doing now obviously isn't working really well for whatever reason.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Enough bitching about Nintendo. Xbox.
We'll do it in the weeks to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So Xbox, not only are they charging you for Xbox Live, Jeff, but they're making you police it for free. How do you feel about that?
I think it's bullshit, actually. Like, you know what? As much as I think that the majority of people want Xbox Live to be a friendlier place, getting us to do it for them is not the answer. Because I think, well, first of all, there's a significant amount of griefing that can be done through this system, and that's never good,
Well, I heard an interview with or read an interview rather with one of the people that's working on this, and they said that they've developed an algorithm that is going to defeat all the gaming that could possibly happen to the system, which I immediately say bull crap. That is, you're never going to be able to defeat Reddit or any of the, like, 4chan. They, like, all those people that gather together and have a hate on for somebody, they could basically destroy their gamer tag in no time. But yeah, essentially what the service is going to be is it's called what is Xbox United, I think is what it's called, or Enforcement United, Xbox Enforcement United. And it's essentially Microsoft is crowdsourcing the policing of their network. So instead of paying people to look at gamer tags when they're created, to do random samples of communications, like all the stuff that they are probably doing now, they are asking for people to do it. And even more so is they're giving you like a quota if you want to be a full member of this program. You have to do a certain number of things a day to bring your percentage up to 100%. And it's like, what? So I'm being put to work to play games so that other people can have better games? Like, I don't really fully understand what this thing is.
Well, first of all, it is voluntary, which is good.
Totally.
It's not like you turn on your Xbox and you got to do it.
Exactly. But it's like, couldn't you already do that on Xbox Live? You give people star ratings.
Yeah,
And
I think I told you about this like earlier. Like when I first got my Xbox, I got on Live. My star rating was 3, and when I added Tom, I increased his star rating, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll get a positive rating." Immediately 5. Since has not fallen a single star. I don't even know how you can avoid people, but that doesn't tell Xbox Live that this is a bad person, And I've flagged multiple people for, extremely offensive names in their gamer tag and just like, clearly cheating and hacking and all that kind of stuff. Nothing ever happens to them. Nothing ever happens to them.
Right.
Because if you're Xbox Live, why would you give a damn? Like, speaking honest, like if I was Microsoft, would I really put any time and effort into a system that is just making me a ton of cash? It's continuing to make cash every day. Why would I care about, really the user experience when they're going to play regardless if it's good or bad?
Yeah.
I'm on there at least every week, just getting the worst names thrown at me from kids who are like 8 and 10 years old, who have just horrible parents, But I'm still going to go on there, whether it's good or bad, because it's that good of a system,
Yep. So I guess some clarification that, as you said, the system is fully voluntary, and you can only rate a certain amount of tags. That's your quota. Is you can rate up to X number of tags per day. So you can't just go and give everybody a bad rating.
And it looks like it's 15 a day.
Something like that, yeah. It's in beta right now, and if you're part of the Xbox Ambassadors program, you can check it out. If you're part of the Xbox Ambassadors program, you don't need a podcast like ours to tell you that you could go check it out. You probably already know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually they're going to open it up to the world, and yeah, like if you have, if you've been an account in good standing, you have X number of Microsoft points, not the money, but the gamer score. You can take part in this and help to make the network a better place, but you get no benefit for doing it. So I don't know. It's really, really bizarre. I don't understand it. But I guess they need to do something because Xbox Live is kind of a cesspool in some games.
It's an absolute pit. It's the worst. It really is the worst gaming community in the world. And there are so many great people on there, and it really depends on the game you play. But an overwhelming majority are just hateful children with terrible parents.
The best of the worst I ever saw on Xbox Live was I was in a multiplayer match. I think it was Gears of War 2 or something. And there was one girl on the team.
Oh, that's worst.
Who was getting hassled all the time, obviously, because she's a girl, and she was taking it okay. Like she wasn't getting angry or whatever. She was joking along, just being. I guess she's used to it. But then I looked at all the gamer tags, and pretty much every other gamer tag that was playing besides mine, and hers had some sort of like sexually derogatory meaning behind it. Yeah. And it's just like, wow. How hard must it be to be a girl gamer in that kind of environment where everybody's either hitting on you, calling you horrible names because you beat them in a death match, or their gamer tag talks about things that they want to do to you? Like, it's just what an awkward and horrible place to game. Like, I would never want my daughter playing on Xbox Live. Obviously she's too young now, but when she was older, I wouldn't want that.
Hell, even your son.
Oh yeah, it's a horrible, horrible, horrible place. It's fun when you're playing the games, and it's better now that you can like block out chat from everybody except for friends or your party or whatever. But it's still like, oh my god, it's terrible.
Well, and the real problem with it is that the system has had some improvements on it. It's very easy to block people who send you crappy messages and all that kind of stuff, but those people who do it often never really get any kind of a punishment. So they're just there doing it all the time. You have to always get one crappy message before you can, like if you're constantly sending these messages, which people do all the time. I've gotten, lists of or not lists, but like just hundreds of mails through or messages through Xbox Live of people just, calling me the worst things. I don't really care, but you could tell that there's never any kind of repercussions.
Yeah. Like,
and, no accounts get banned. Yeah, exactly.
You call a 1-800 number and you wait on hold for an hour to talk to someone probably in some call center in another country and try to explain why this is so like bad.
Yeah.
Maybe you can't always get that point across as well. Like it's
Either
just a
that or
horrible
you-
system.
Yeah, either that or you like get under their gamer tag and you say like this person was being abusive, which really nothing ever happens from that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like this system goes, there's some good and some bad. The good is they're trying and they understand that Xbox Live is not a very friendly place to be.
Yeah.
And they are trying to fix it, which is fantastic. And the bad is this system, like you said, as soon as somebody says this is a system that cannot be gamed, someone will have found a way to game it the next day. That's how quick people are and dedicated.
That will be their game, is finding out a way to game it.
Exactly. They would rather play the game of gaming the system than the game you buy on your console. And that's brutal, right? So I don't think this is the way to go about it, but I think it's a good start, And I think that it's good that they have addressed that there are some problems. I remember I played Call of Duty on the PS3 a few times, and it is a far nicer community.
Oh, yeah,
and it's the same game that is just horrendous on the Xbox Live. So I don't know what it is about
it's not
the Xbox
everybody
Live
doesn't have a microphone in the box.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to spend $70 for a microphone, you're probably someone who knows more words than, swears and racial slurs.
So its Achilles heel is also the thing that made it so good, which is a really weird thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Double-edged sword on that one.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm glad to see they are trying to do something. I just don't think this is it.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. Like they have Xbox ambassadors, like employ them to do this for you and make it part of make it something they get paid for in like Microsoft points or something. But,
well, even then, then somebody is going, because there's a reward, someone who is going to want to do it, they're not going to take it seriously. Yeah. Maybe the right idea is just Microsoft hire some people, go through some kind of screening process and get them to do it.
Yeah.
Instead of getting the gamers to do it, because that's going to be, I think, the wrong approach.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's about the end of this epic 2-hour podcast. Thanks everybody for showing up. Thanks everybody that's remaining in the chat room. We lost most people like as it got into like midnight and just before. Everybody was like, okay, gotta go, sleepy type stuff. So thanks to the people, the diehards that stuck around. We want to hear from you guys. Let us know what you think of the show. vgpodcast@gmail.com. You can email us that way or go to our website and click contact us. You can call our voicemail line, which is area code 505 VG Podcasts. Please go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I would like to try YouTube live streaming in the next little bit. So I need some more subscribers over there. So please do that. But yeah, man, that's gonna about do it for this week. Jeff, thanks again for joining me for yet another week.
It's always good to be here. When it's YouTube streaming, is that like Google Hangouts, or do they just use Google Hangouts to stream through your channel?
It's not Google Hangouts at all. It's live streaming like I'm doing, except it goes right to the YouTube channel directly.
Gotcha.
So if someone's on the YouTube channel, they'll see that there's a live show happening, and they could do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm subscribed to a few channels that often stream on YouTube, so it's a pretty interesting system.
Yeah, it's something I want to try. May or may not be the ultimate solution, but at least it's something to check out in the interim.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to about do it for this episode of the bonus stage. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for staying tuned. Thanks for watching the live show. And we will talk to you guys in about a week's time. Take it easy.
See you later.
Let's get started.